Ladies and gentlemen, we have made it to a certain point in society where persons now can't get a job. Persons can't get a job in a dead end job. Dead end jobs are expecting education at a tertiary level, they're expecting experience, and they want you to be dedicated to the company or the organization. It's quite a bad place to be coming up in a society as such or global economic state as such in 2026 where capitalism, corporate greed in general is, I would say for right now, at a pinnacle that the world has ever seen. There's more money ever made in the world, but yet there's more poverty than it ever was before. The middle class is almost completely non existent. The thing about this is when you have two heavy imbalances and there's no middle ground, and the contrast is so broad, it's going to beg for some balance, and there's going to be a need for balance eventually. And what I mean by that is this: when persons can't afford to buy necessities, the companies that supply the necessities will not make as much money. They can raise prices all they want, but persons can't afford it. Grocery stores, some grocery stores will close because no one's buying anymore. They're not making enough profits or returns on investment because their investment isn't making any money. And then it trickles down the line. And this is where boycotting was effective. Modern day times we call it cancel culture, but boycotting is extremely effective for a business that relies on customers. Boycotting is by far the most effective way to get a response and get customers what they want. Patronizing said businesses and just verbally complaining is not enough anymore. In 2026, they have so many ways of communications, whether it be public relations and social media, whether it be putting in a queue, whether it be filling out surveys, but yet nothing is getting any better. Because the point is, we are still patronizing the persons that are price gouging our pockets, who are careless to our desires, wants, and needs. And the reality is, quite frankly, me and you, we're at fault. We condone said behaviors. We still give in and buy back and contribute to the same problems, but complain when really we should just mitigate the whole issue altogether. Just boycott these people. Electricity is too expensive. We should boycott them. Certain grocery stores are too expensive. Stop buying from them. Certain brands sell overpriced clothes or clothes that are manufactured on immoral practices. Boycott them. Stop buying them. You don't have to say any more. You don't have to riot. You don't have to protest. You just stop patronizing them. A business can't stand without the customer. It's just straight factual. If I'm not buying anything from you and no one's buying anything from you, no matter how many stock and inventory you have, you will die with that stock and inventory. And I promise you, it's not going to last very long. And in the same way, it seems that corporate organizations are trying to do the same thing for jobs and job opportunities. I'm willing to argue that they are boycotting civilizations by creating higher expectations in any and every regard to then secure employees for a considerable amount of time and, of course, try to retain as much profits or grow profits anymore. So, where's this money going to come from? Is it going to come from you and me, the persons that's going to use a credit card or get a loan, or where's this money going to come from? If we're not being promoted, we're not getting into newer jobs at the starting level, you need to have a tertiary education. And in some places, you need more than associates because an associate is a nothing. But what else can you do? Some persons are still graduating high school without a high school diploma, by the way. What else can you do? Some persons still don't have a GED. What are you going to do? Tell them to work at Wendy's? Wendy's wants you to have certain educational standards. McDonald's? KFC? What are you going to do? Be a janitor for the government? The government wants has an educational standard now. I just want to know, when will it get to a point where things are going to start to regress? And I think that we've been, as a global society, we've inherently pushed it a little bit further than we should have. We've advanced more than we should have in the time that we did, especially technologically. Enough so, persons don't know how to function without a calculator in some areas. Some persons don't know what it's like to have a phone book. Persons don't retain knowledge because they rely on a cell phone. Don't you think that's going to affect us in the long run? And then you have Gen Alpha, the iPad kids, the persons that lack cognitive and motor skills because they didn't have certain toys or certain things afforded to them that were good for cognitive and brain development. Cognitive, motor, communicative, and social, all brain functions. And in so many ways, they were completely robbed of that by just playing Roblox on an iPad and not having their parents or siblings interact with them, because the parents and siblings are also frying away on a cell phone or an iPad. How did we get to this point? How did we get to a point where we don't even want to grow up our own kids? How did we get to a point where having a side hustle is a requirement to get somewhere, quote unquote, in life? To be able to afford a house, you need to work a considerable amount, have 2 to 3 jobs, have a side business. Where did we get in society where everybody needs to be a business owner to make a living? Where did it come from? How did we get to this point? What happened to persons that really just wanted stability, to live a regular life, the middle class? How did we do so poorly to imbalance humankind? How do we allow the persons at the top to do so much so fast? How are we so naive? I I don't even know. I don't even know. It seems like we've overcorrected in one direction, and it's slowly gonna be a matter of overcorrecting in the next direction, which is gonna be one big ping pong ball back and forth. So really I'm not really concerned, quite frankly, because it's gonna correct itself. It's gonna balance out, and then the cycle is gonna start all over again. Different persons playing the same character in the same story. So let's see how it goes.